Hello, my fellow patriots. This is Alex with Disabled Vets Perspective, and we survived the day. My wife and I decided after the event that we would go have some lunch with some other patriots that we were there with, and then start heading south to start heading to the house. We were talking about going to D.C., but both of us are just way too sore to even think about attempting another day of walking or anything like that. Not complaining. I'd do it again, sore or not, just doesn't matter. I stood there the whole time. But it's very, very interesting. This thing was incredible. I heard American Joe's live stream while I was driving down the road before it decided to start buffering because of the trees we were all going through, but he asked if it was worth it, and I can't even be more emphatic with my response. Absolutely. For one thing, I got to meet some of the greatest patriots in this world. Actually met a couple that spoke very, very little English, and they were from Hong Kong. They even had their Second Amendment sign written in kanji, or I guess it's kanji, but very interesting. We were international with this event. I ran into somebody from Alaska. We had a couple of people from California. I mean, just all over. I mean, literally almost every state was represented there. Some of them were running around with their state flags just to make sure everybody understood where they came from. I heard today on the news, or a news report, my wife got it on the phone on the way home, and they said, oh, only about 22,000 people showed up. Well, I got news for them. There might have been 22,000 or more inside the cattle corral. It was just absolutely stacked in there, and the reality is that's the only place they could get a count. So, there's 22,000 in their dreams. We started out taking up 5 linear blocks of the area that we were in, and 1 block deep. But then about 8:30 or 9 maybe at the latest, they had to move the barricades back. Well, we filled that space, and then 11 o'clock, 11:30, they had to move the barriers back again. They moved our barriers 3 times during this event because the people were coming in absolute mass. I was on the corner of 8th and Franklin, hanging out with American Warhorse and a couple other really cool patriots over there. We watched as the sidewalks, probably 10 feet wide, maybe a little wider. We watched as a column of people came down from above, up the hill. It was from the wall all the way to the curb, and then 2 people walking in the street next to the others, and it was probably 7 people wide, a full line over the next hill that was above us, and these people were coming in mass. We had a very good spot. We got to enjoy the interaction. We spent a lot of time talking to the police officers there. We had a coffee shop that was like 2 doors down. Unfortunately, a lot of people listened to the rhetoric, and they decided, oh, we're going to be safe and close our stores. Well, they lost out. This coffee shop was slamming. The convenience store just up the street, ended up having to buy a pair of gloves there. A really nice lady that running the place. Let my wife use the restroom, so that was very limited. She didn't want to have the place overwhelmed, but so she let her use it, and really nice. But we ended up buying a pair of gloves there because, as Floridians, we start to cry when it gets below like 80. So it was probably 28 degrees most of the day. It was pretty brutal. temperature-wise, but you know what? There is no pain that would keep me from participating in this thing. And as far as the people that couldn't attend, the ones that I feel like I'm sent here to represent, I hope that I've been able to do that for you. Um, you know, I wanted to be I wanted to be the representative for the people that couldn't come, and especially the ones that helped me get here. Um, you know, you guys are really important to me, really special to me, and I find it an honor to stand in your name for this event. Um, one of the other little things that I found out about was when I was in the convenience store waiting for my wife to take 5 pairs of pants off and go to the bathroom and come back, you know how that goes. I was talking to one of the police officers there, and he says, I asked him specifically about Antifa. I said, is there any report on Antifa and any threat at this point? And he kind of gave a little smirk, and he said, we got Antifa kind of corralled in the south end of town. And I said, okay, so are they going to like break the police lines and end up merging with the Patriots? And he says, no, this isn't Portland. So I find it very interesting that they were corralled or monitored. You know, they kept them kind of in the south side of the event. But I just have to wonder a little bit if the police officers kind of went against the governor on that, because I'm sure he really, really, really wanted to have a disaster, and we just didn't give it to him. But my wife took this picture while I was standing in the 45-minute line for the restroom, you know what I'm saying? This will tell you an awful lot about how things went. I hope you can see that. This is, okay, here we go, kind of getting it in there. Man, if it's backwards, I'm sorry about that. But the point is, I'll do this again on when I get home on my computer. I'll show you guys live. I'll get it loaded up. But these were state troopers that came in, unfurled that sign, and stood with the Patriots. This was awesome. The communication that we had with the police officers, we were right on the corner. We specifically picked this place because it had some good cover, it had some good exits, and we weren't going to end up in the cattle crawl if something went inside the corral area. Cheers, y'all. Anyway, so we were in a good spot. We had a group of police officers that were right up next to us, and none of them liked what's going on. They despise this, but none of them had any problem with any weapon that people were carrying. As a matter of fact, a couple of them that were with us, Virginia Prepper and he's got to change his name. He's killing me. Anyway, so the two cops started to turn the corner and saw what he had slung to his chest. So they called him out to the car, and they ended up just shooting shit, just talking about that gun, because it was a nice little piece that he had there. But they just, probably 30 minutes or so, just talking about that tactical he was carrying. So the really cool thing about this is the fact that we now own the narrative. Mainstream media lost, because for a month they've been building up the rhetoric. Oh, these violent, racist thug militia are coming to our state to burn it to the ground. You know, they were building up how mean and nasty we were for coming to the aid of America. And now that they've sort of lost that, we were in there. This was like, somebody jokingly said, this is like the Woodstock for patriots, man. And he said it just like that. And then all I could think of was, yeah, man, this is like a love for the country fest. These people, it was like being high on energy. There was so much energy in this place. but everybody was happy. They were in a good mood. Everybody was laughing and chanting and waving flags and introducing themselves to each other. And I mean, it was just like, it just really, really incredible. So again, getting back to the question from Joe, is I just can't imagine how worth it this was. And I kind of jokingly said a couple of days ago, you know, maybe the entire month I've spent, look at that one piece of hair wanting to hang out. That month I've spent getting all the logistics handled, getting all the, um, you know, first aid and all the fast react teams, all the things that needed to be in place for the potential of a hazard. And I just jokingly said, well, I bet just probably, it'd be nice if it was like a waste of time, the last month that I spent. And it wasn't. If we go do another one of these things and there's any potential of a threat, I'll do it all over again, because I would rather be way over prepared and just, I mean, have hours and hours of research and recon and development of a program and all that. I'd rather have all that in place than to end up in a situation where everybody's just running in each direction with no control and no coordination. Prescott Caliber Club, that's my other man that was over there with me. So it was Virginia Prepper and Prescott Caliber Club. But he's both of them, man. They were absolutely awesome. Got to hang out with American Joe, and he confirmed it to me. His first name is in fact American. So that was a question I've had for a long time, but I didn't want to get into personal business with him until we got to know each other a little bit. So I asked him, and it's been confirmed. So his first name is American, and his last name is Joe. So really cool. It was awesome to see him. Awesome to hang out with him. Warhorse Manny. We've been waiting to meet up for quite a while. And it's like we've known each other for 20 years. It was just fantastic. I'm trying to translate some of the emotion and some of the overall feeling of what went on today for the folks that couldn't go. And American Joe posted a picture of a cattle corral, but that thing was filling up all day. But this idea of 22,000, maybe in the cattle corral, but out on the streets, it was a party. And I'll tell you, the line for signing the petition to get rid of blackface, it went on for hours. I mean, hours and hours these people were coming up, signing their name. This petition was filling up paper after paper. American Joe and I kind of half-heartedly discussed the population count, and we're both kind of in the category of 350, 380,000, maybe more. So definitely a positive 300,000 based on what we've seen in coliseums and stuff like that, and the fact that it went 6 or 7 blocks down and 4 blocks back with people absolutely, front to back, front to back, front to back, uncomfortably close, but packing this place. The more people packed into a square area than in most coliseums. It was just amazing. But anyway, trying to think of anything else. Anything else that I got on one of the gentlemen on his way out gave me a sign, stop the red flag law.
Those trucks coming.
So that was cool because that's appropriate for my state. The red flag law is out of hand over there. You guys saw the video of the trucks coming down. That was fascinating. I mean, these guys blowing their horns and standing on the Jake brake between the buildings, windows rocking. It was a trip. But yeah, on our way down the highway here, we passed one of the trucks that was doing the loop through town, so we gave him a honk and a wave. But it's all Alex Jones driving around in his battle axe. I want that truck. But anyhow, we didn't get a chance to meet up with Zombie Farmer and Real World Prepper, and that was a little disappointing, but understandable because Lisa and I got there very early, parked up on 5th Street, which is about 3 blocks from the action, maybe 4. But and we parked up there because we got there really early, but the absolute mountain of people started cresting the hill almost immediately. So if you ended up on one end of the Capitol Square, there was no chance that you're getting to the other end. It's just not gonna happen. So we ended up on both ends, probably around the same time, and the crowd just filled in between us, and there's no moving. You enjoy where you are. You look out for the group that you're with, and everybody chills out and has a good time. But I think that's probably it, unless you can think of anything specific that was extra special. I saw a lot of YouTubers out there. There's a lot of them out there, and I gotta say, make sure if you are a YouTube, let's get out here real quick and let's get this narrative in our favor and keep it going, because mainstream media lost. Their narrative was we were psychopaths coming to burn their town down. We showed them, we showed them.
Nice and.
Yeah, there were some liberals there, gunned up, and they were cool. So everything was cool.
Everybody respected everybody.
Yeah, it was a lot of respect, because this had nothing to do with who's in the White House or anything. It really didn't. So, we ran into a couple of gentlemen that are running for House seats in Florida, one in Miami, one in Dade County. I'm going to be doing live shows with both of them shortly. I want to introduce you folks to them because they're going to try to work to overturn the red flag law in our area, in our state. But anyway, I think that's just about got it. But we're at a hotel in south a little ways, about 4 hours south of Richmond now. We're going to chill out, try to get our voice back, try to relieve ourselves of some pain for a little while, and then we'll get up in the morning and get heading to the house. I'll be home sometime tomorrow night. I'll probably just wave a hand, let everybody know we're home safe, and we'll plan on doing a live show to get some questions about what you guys might have on your mind about this rally. But I think it made a point. I really think it made the point we wanted it to make. This was a show of numbers. It was a show of potential force, or possible force. In other words, they realized that what they saw was just an absolute fraction of what the next wave would be if they continued to keep trying to step on our rights. We didn't want to cause any harm. None of that was on our mind. We wanted to simply show them the numbers of the people that disagree with them, and that, it's just a tiny little amount, and if they keep taking the rights away from the American people, when the American people do have to rise up, what they did see, they can't imagine the tidal wave of humanity that would be coming in behind us next time. So I really think if they just looked out the window instead of run and hide, they'd see that they need to knock this stuff out, and we need to get control of this again. But
we enjoyed going to the Capitol.
oh yeah, we did do the tour of the Capitol when we first got here, and we're history buffs. We love that stuff. So yeah, it was fascinating. Awesome. Really, really cool. So we got to enjoy a little bit of the time while we were here, while we were looking around in town. But so it wasn't all work and no play. It was a little bit of play too. But anyway, I think I'm finally done. We're at 19 minutes. Good Lord, that's probably the longest download video I've ever done. But anyway, so we'll get home, we get settled, and then maybe tomorrow night I'll be on. I guess Wednesday I'll be on with Pete, but maybe Wednesday afternoon I'll get on and do a little live stream. We'll talk a little more directly about how things went. Anyway, love you guys. Appreciate everything you did for me. This thing was incredible. I'm honored. Lisa's proud of y'all too. She enjoyed the hell out of it. She really did. I mean, with the exception of the cold, she's got 5 pair of pants and like 4 shirts, maybe 5 shirts.
I already took it off.
No, ooh, she's already taken them off. You gotta go. Y'all stay in the fight.